We're live. Welcome to meet Christelle Biga, everyone. Welcome. Hi, Christelle.
Hello, Cornelia. How are you doing?
Really good. I am enjoying this warm weather here in Washington State.
I wish I could say the same. It has been gloomy since yesterday. June bloom, right?
June bloom. Yeah, it is expected. Yes. No, we're having wonderful weather right now. Actually, during this time of the year in Washington State, this is when you want to be here. So,
Oh,
like,
wow.
away from, the spring to the fall, this is really the most magnificent time. I want to turn off my email alert, which I forgot to do. All these things that we do before we go live, right?
I know. I always go put my phone on do not disturb because you never know. That's now the time for people to call you, message, and all of that.
That's true. I didn't do that. So I'm just going to kind of let that be over there. So anyway, I wanted to have you come on to do a Facebook Live today with you. So just so that we can, first of all, chat and, let the audience know what you're up to, let the people know what you're up to, because you're up to a lot of big things lately. As, a person that knows you behind the scenes, because I work with you behind the scenes, I
Mm-hmm.
know all the things, all the different things that you're doing and what you're up to. And you've got some events coming up that we want to highlight and that we want to talk about. So, what's going on in your world?
A lot. So thank you first of all for having me here. This is really amazing to, give me a chance to introduce myself to your audience, and hopefully I also have a few people in my audience joining us live. I know this wasn't scheduled or announced, but hey, that's the beauty of just showing up and doing what you have to do. And whoever got the chance to watch us live, perfect. If not, if you watch us on the replay, we are also really happy to have you here. So yes, Dr. Cornelia, you're right. Have so much going on, but I'm really excited about one thing right now, my upcoming webinar that I will be hosting live on June 10th. So that's the one thing I'm really, really putting my energy on and I'm really excited about. I'm so excited because it's going to be so good. The more I work on it, the more I put I put things together, the more I know what I'm going to share with the audience, the more excited I get about it because it's going to be really, really good. I will share my story, what I'm using personally to be where I am today. And you know where I came from, right? That's a different story. We're probably going to have a chance to share a little bit about it. But the one thing that has allowed me to go through that journey personally and with my clients, even friends that didn't even pay me, they still took advantage of that one thing I'll be sharing on the webinar. And I'm really excited about it.
Yeah. So June 10th is like right around the corner. And you and I are actually going to come on to talk about this event and also highlight and invite people that are really ready to uh, learn the secret, because you're going to be sharing some secrets in this upcoming webinar. The thing that really that I love about you and that I admire about you is, and that's your story. And I've told you this before, that it is, you came here to this country how many years ago?
5 years ago.
Okay, so you came here 5 years ago.
Mhm.
And when you came 5 years ago, you had nothing but a suitcase. How much money did you have on your credit card?
$2,500
$2,500. You flew into where?
from Cameroon to LAX, straight up.
Okay.
And maybe you don't know this piece of the story, but the choice of Los Angeles was really a funny choice. I got my visa in December and I knew one thing. One thing I knew about, the United States was that, okay, it's winter time. And I didn't want to deal with the snow. I never had an experience with that weather. And I was like, I'm not sure I'm going to make it. So I went on Google and I searched states in America that don't have the snow during winter. And I saw a couple of states. But then California was more appealing because all of a sudden I remember the show that I was watching when I was in high school, Beverly Hills 90210. Maybe somebody's going to remember that.
That's hilarious. Oh my God.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and I was like, oh my gosh, California. So Beverly Hills is over there. Hollywood is over there. I'm going to California. And nobody here, no friends, no family, nobody. I was like, let's go there. That's how I landed here.
So that's how you chose LA. That's how you
Yes.
chose, because you live in Manhattan Beach now?
Yes, I do live in Manhattan Beach. It's really beautiful, not far away, like 1 block away from the ocean. It's just blessing.
Yeah, I saw that video that you did and that you just posted on your YouTube channel, which, by the way, everybody go to Christelle's YouTube channel and watch that beautiful video that says Meet Christelle Biga. I mean, you could see her other videos too, but such a well done video. What inspired you to put that video together?
Because I know this is the time now where people are hiring speakers for their events, and I wanted with that video, my intention really is to give an opportunity to event planners, organizers, maybe in corporate or live or in-person events, because now we have the chance to start doing live events as well, to know a little bit about my story and see if I can come encourage, empower their audience to start showing up differently and get different results, either for their organizations or for themselves. So that's really was my intention behind that video. And I really loved recording it because it allowed me to share not only my story about coming in the US, but also a little bit about how I even became a speaker in the first place, where that came from. It was a gift from my dad, and it was a beautiful experience for me to share that with people that don't know that. I just know that I speak, I have a podcast, but I don't know that it's a beautiful gift that I got from my dad.
Yeah, and I love that you brought your dad into it. I also love that the pictures of you on the beach, and that you brought some pictures of you from your past, from your home. How far is Cameroon from LA? Do you know how far?
Yes. Okay. It's 11 hours flight. Yes. It's no, wait, 13 hours flight because you can't go straight. You stop first in Paris, at least. You can stop different places, but you have to stop somewhere in Europe and then take a second flight. From here to Europe is around 8 hours. And from Europe, France to Cameroon is 6 hours. So that's how so I left Cameroon on December 30th and then I landed here December 31st. That's how long it takes to get here.
Yeah, and there's quite a story about you landing at LAX then and being detained because they actually thought you were a prostitute,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
And
Yes.
really, that was the furthest thing from the truth, because you were like an innocent, beautiful, uh, you know, inner child with your big visions and your big dreams to come to the United States to live the American dream.
Yes. Yes. I had no intention because I've never been a prostitute before. So, and again, remember it was winter time.
Well, maybe not in this life, Christelle.
Yeah, maybe the guy saw something in a past or future life. I don't know. But as far as I remember, I don't know. So yeah, so I mean, it was really intense. We can laugh about it now, and now with the way fact that I can talk about it shows that I healed. Because something about sharing stories, sharing your story, we hear that a lot. Make your message, your trauma to. But if you are sharing a story that you haven't healed from, when the wound is still open, it's not a time to share the story. You want to share your story when you are healed. When now it's not an open wound anymore, it's a scar. Then you can use it to empower other people, because when we are still wounded, people feel it. And you don't want people to feel wounded. You don't want people to hear your story and feel sorry for you. That's not intention. You want to share your story to empower other people. And for a very long time, I couldn't share that story because I was still wounded. I just wanted it I wanted to leave it behind me. I never even want anybody to know about it. I didn't want to. I remember when I started working at Alex, that was actually my first job. I started working at LAX, the same airport where I almost get deported from, right? The first day I started, I remembered because I had shut down that memory to the place where I couldn't even remember it, not even just talk about it to people I didn't want to remember. But when I started working there, I then came back, whoa, this is where I landed and when all the drama started. And when I was working there, one day I got an opportunity because I was working with an airline. And we had different operations. We go arrival to meet passengers, greet them, escort them. And one day I got assigned to that shift. When I went to the arrival level, I remember that I never got an opportunity to exit the airport like a regular passenger. I left this airport with handcuffs in my back. I was walked into a bus like a criminal and taken to a detention center. So after I finished with the passengers that came on the flight, I said, I want to feel what it feels like to exit LAX as a passenger. So I decided to not go because we have a shortcut when you walk there. You don't need to exit the airport and go back in. But I said, no, I want to exit because I've never had that experience. That was 2 years after I was in the US. So I was like, I've never experienced this. I want to do that. So I remember walking to the exit, and the moment I saw people waiting outside, waving at their families, friends, some with signs, I remember having goosebumps and saying to myself, I never had this. I never experienced this. Nobody was happy to see me here when I came. And I even had tears in my eyes, and just went back to the office and nobody knew because, again, I wasn't still at the place where I could share that story. The only thing I mentioned with my colleagues at some point was that when I came, an immigration officer said that I was coming to work as a prostitute. They were laughing, and it was a crazy story. It was like, wait, why? And do you know him? Do you remember? I said, I don't, because I had shut down that memory so hard that I didn't want to even remember his face or anything. But that's how I was impacted by that experience. For if you don't know that story, if you didn't have a chance yet to watch what I share on YouTube, let me share a little bit what happened. If it's okay, Cornelia, of course.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it's
Yes.
powerful. It's a powerful story. I just want to make one quick point. I want to give this to everybody, the distinction I just made by what you shared. And that was that, how you shut it down, that you completely block the memory out. This is what happens to a lot of people in their childhood. They have an experience or whatever, it's traumatic, and they completely block it out. And it's always with them. And at some point, it's going to come up to the surface to be healed, right? To be released. And you, or just talking about it, what happened to you and what happened to that experience. The way you told the story, I just want to point this out as a speaker, is you really had me, because you had me totally feeling what it felt like for you to walk out as a passenger, and how nobody was waiting for you. That's relatable. And how nobody was there rooting for you or, welcoming you. You didn't have that experience. And that's a traumatic experience, but you had me in the feeling. And that is the master of a storyteller.
Thank you. Thank you. So yeah, so when I arrived, all happy, Obama just got elected, was taking selfies and everything. I passed the first officer that actually helped me fill out my form with the address where I was going, which was a hostel, because I didn't know anybody, right? So I booked a place. And before I was exiting with my baggage, another one asked me to go to the secondary check where they would search my bags. Still, I have no issue with that, right? There is nothing creepy in my bag. While he's searching, I don't speak English. I can say a few words here and there because my country is bilingual. So I learned English in school, but I wasn't speaking it. So I had no practice. And I was answering his questions the best I could. Maybe I said something that triggered him. I'm not sure. All I know is that he decided to call another colleague, ask him to get my phone. They started searching my phone, and now he's asking more crazy questions like, who are you coming to meet here? And what are you coming to do here? And then at some point, he's like, you know what? And before he says that, he's a big officer, right? He's really big guy, tall and big. Yeah. So he lays his hands on the table to be at my level. And then he looks at me straight up in the eyes and he said, you know what I think? I think you came here to work as a prostitute. And at that moment, I'm like, this is not how I thought it was not happening. Like maybe he's not serious or he's joking, but he didn't seem like he was joking. He was looking at me straight up. He went to my level to make sure I see his eyes. And then I say, why? I mean, I'm not a prostitute. Say, yeah, you are. I'm like, no. And then because they are searching my bag, I said, but look at my clothes. I mean, there is nothing in my bag that makes you feel or believe that I'm a prostitute. I have regular clothes. He says, well, prostitutes also wear regular clothes. And I'm like, I know. He said, see, I knew it. You're a prostitute. And
Oh
I'm
my God.
thinking, is that an evidence right there? And I'm laughing now, but I wasn't laughing at that point. I
No.
was, I was shaking. I was like, this is
Mm.
this is not happening. And before I know it, he's calling two female officers to go search me in another room. They removed the laces on my tennis shoes, and now there's the filling out forms to process my deportation and all of that. And I think it's just at that point I blank out. I'm standing there and I'm not even realizing what is happening. I think this is not real. So they have me sitting on a bench before, while they are waiting for somebody to take me to the office where they will call the airline and send me back. I'm sitting there completely lost and confused. I can barely even see the people around me. And if you have ever been at LAX, you know it's crowded.
Oh
But
yeah.
I couldn't see anybody. And some way, somehow, and for somebody that has worked there, I know it doesn't happen. Immigration's offices are so busy and it's so crowded that I don't have time to stop and talk to somebody if they don't have to. So one officer passing by stops. Maybe he saw the way my face, I don't know. He decided to stop and he asked me, Sister, what is happening? And then I just started talking. I can't tell you what I was telling him because it was just like, finally, somebody wants to listen. Because
Right.
the other guy was just telling me, and
Yeah.
whatever I said was something bad, making my
Yeah.
situation worse. So I was just talking. I'm not sure he understood everything I was saying because I know for sure it wasn't English. Didn't make a lot of sense, but he was listening. And at the end, when I was done, and at that point I had tears rolling, on my cheeks because before that I was so in shock that I couldn't even react. But the more I was talking to him, at some point I had tears rolling on my cheeks. And when I was done, he said, "Everything's going to be all right." And it just felt like I just believed him. I just felt like, yes, he's right. It made zero sense. He had no clue what was going to happen to me, but he said that, and I believed him. So when they came in to take me to that office where, they call a translator and all of that, I just had that in my mind that, okay, I don't know what is happening, but everything's going to be all right. And I was there scared and all of it. But that sentence sticked with me. And fast forward to not, keep it too long, they took me to a detention center where I ended up spending 9 months before being released. But it was a really, really tough experience.
You were in the detention center for 9 months.
That's the name they give, but the truth is it's a jail. It's really what it is. It's jail.
I did not know that, Christelle, because you had never mentioned this before.
Yeah,
I
yeah, it
I
happened.
didn't know. That's insane.
Yes, yes. I spent 9 months in jail. We were in jail. I mean, they were putting us a different color uniform because they said we are detainees, we are not prisoners because we are in the immigration process. But the building across our building, we had prisoners there, so we're in the same facility with prisoners, with criminals, right? And they told us, no, you guys are not in prison. You're just in detention. What's the difference? Right? What's the difference? The color uniform? No, they actually had more freedom than we did. They had more time outside of the building than we did. We had a few, maybe 2 hours a day outside. The rest of the time we're indoor, and they had more time. But they made us feel like we were different or better some way somehow. But yeah, I spent 9 months there. Yes,
So that's 9 months of the 5 years. So 9 months is really, almost a
a
year.
year. Yes.
So then when you came out, then what did you do? Because now you are an entrepreneur, a coach, you're a speaker, you help so many people. You know,
Yes.
how did you make that transition to go go to this place because you are now living the American dream, your definition of the American dream.
Yes. I have learned a lot of things during that experience, and I've used all of those. And one thing mainly stood out that has allowed me to go through that, because believe you me, I wanted to quit. During those 9 months, I had the opportunity to sign a petition paper and go back to my country, to the comfort zone, to the safety, to the known, right? I didn't have to be far away from my family, treated like a criminal, and go through all that trauma. So that experience is what has allowed me to become the entrepreneur you're mentioning right now. Because entrepreneurship, and like I love to tell my clients, is a journey. It's a personal development journey where you have plans and those plans fail. What do you do then? What do you do when your plans failed? I've learned what to do when my plans to come here, with the place where I rented, meet people, and get a job failed. And I ended up in jail. I could have quit. So many times when you start your entrepreneurship journey, you have opportunities to quit, to give up, because sometimes your plans don't work as you thought they would. Sometimes you give it all. You have the best intentions and you don't get the results. What do you do then? What keeps you going when there is no proof, no evidence that there is light at the end of the tunnel? You don't know that when you start as an entrepreneur. So, and I didn't know what was going to happen during that whole experience. So I'm using the tools that I have, the personal tools that I've learned during that experience, and I apply them. And those tools have allowed me to create the result I'm creating today in my business. Because when things get rough, when things don't work the way I planned, I use the same personal tools that I used during that time. If I need to cry, I do cry, and I know it's okay. But I don't give up, because I had the opportunities, as I mentioned, during those 9 months, to give up and go back to the safety of my family, my friends, my country, and I didn't. And when you're an entrepreneur, you know this. You have so many options or so many reasons why you should just give up, go back to your job, go back to your whatever you were doing before. What keeps you going? And that's one of the things I'll be sharing during the webinar coming up on the 10th, right? What keeps you going when your plans fail as an entrepreneur? Because it happens. What keeps you going when you have an idea and you have no evidence that it's going to work? Why do you take that chance to do it anyway? What allows you to make that decision to show up when you have no evidence that is going to work? What gives you that power to do it, even though people think it's crazy, which happens a lot with business ideas? What gives you the power to do the things that no one else is doing? And I've experienced that when I became an entrepreneur. I said things that I wanted to do, and they told me nobody does that in their first year. No. Nobody is going to have you on their podcast as a guest because you don't have this yet. You don't even have a website. And then I remembered, because I have built that during my experience coming here, and maybe throughout my whole life as well, I will do it anyway, even when they told me it was impossible. Let me tell you something. When I was in that place, I've met other, people in immigration process, right? Some people have been there for like 2 years. So for me, spending 9 months here, people thought I was lucky. And then at first, when I was thinking, this is not possible, I can't spend 2 years in jail, they'll be like, listen up. Just figure out a way, maybe to get a bond from the judge and go out and, because here, nobody gets documents before leaving this place. Nobody gets granted like a legal status before leaving this place. Unless you have a good lawyer, and even if you do have a lawyer, all they can get for you is a bond, or maybe they release you on parole if you have somebody that can stand for you. Nobody leaves this place with a legal right to stay in the US. And I did. I remember the day I left the courtroom when the judge granted me the right to stay. I wasn't believing what was happening, because I had those stories of it's impossible. Nobody has never done it. It doesn't happen.
You
right?
had those stories. You had those stories, but you did not let that be your reality.
Exactly. And that's what happened when, that's why that experience when I became an entrepreneur, every time people will tell me nobody does this in their first year, nobody, will do, no, not these things don't happen, it doesn't happen work this way. I just had that memory of they told me that before and it happened. So I use those in my journey. That's why I'm able to do things that I shouldn't be doing, but I do them anyways. I
And that
achieve things that I shouldn't be achieving because it's not in the norm, it's not what usually happens, but I make it happen.
and that's what you're going to be talking about in the webinar too,
Yes.
where you're going
Yes.
to be helping people that normally have this story and that's what they're believing and that's what they're following, and you're going to help them break through and move beyond that and live life according to their dream.
Absolutely. I will share what has allowed me to make that happen. When I didn't believe it was possible, when people told me it wasn't possible, when all the evidence were there with facts, because that's the thing. Limiting beliefs are not crazy things that we can't believe. They are so believable that we even believe them. That's the beauty about limiting beliefs. It looks like facts because the people that were telling me that in the immigration center had facts. I have been here for 2 years. I've been here for 5 years. Nobody has never done. Those are facts. Those are numbers. And I even remember I was speaking at the workshop during the Q&A. A lady told me her project she had, and she said she doesn't think it's going to happen. I asked why. She said because banks don't support female-owned businesses this way they support male-owned businesses. And plus, I'm a woman of color. And then I said, that's a story. She said, no, but if you go on Google, they have stats. I said, I know about stats. I know about facts. I know about what is happening. But why does it have to happen with you? That's your decision.
That's so powerful, Christelle. That's so powerful.
Thank you.
That's, oh my God, that's so good.
Thank you.
That's so good. That just gives me the chills. It's like, that's it. That's it. That is it.
That's why I'm so excited about the webinar because
So
I'm going to
when is
be
the
helping
webinar?
people with that.
When is the webinar? When is the webinar? How do people sign up? How long is it? Give me all the dates.
Yes, the webinar is June 10th at 1 p.m. Pacific time, 4 p.m. Eastern time. It's going to be live. So it's not a pre-recorded thing. I'm going to be there live sharing with you the one thing that has allowed me to achieve what I have achieved in my personal life and in my business. And to join, let me type the link here. Okay. Maybe you can share that with them. I'm not sure how to post that in the comment.
No, I want you to read the link because here's what we want to do because I'm
Yes.
still new at this software here, and
Mm-hmm.
it's okay not being perfect. But what I want you to do later, Christelle, when you're sharing
Yes.
the video, is
Mm-hmm.
please put it in the chat so people can
Yes.
see where it is. But you can tell us about it.
Yes. So the link is simply https www.subscribepage.com/free webinar.
That's good.
Okay.
Mm.
So you go there and you can save your seat to be with me live on June 10th, 1 p.m. Pacific time, 4 p.m. Eastern time. I'm so excited because I want all my women out there that are taking a chance to start a business and they have those dreams, those goals. I want them to make them happen because I know whatever I have that I have used, that have worked for me, you also have it. You just need a reminder. You just need a boost. You just need somebody to hold space for you to make it happen for yourself. And the truth is, that's something that everybody that has achieved anything in their life needed and have used. You have used it, Cornelia, for sure.
Yeah.
You have used it
Yeah.
to be able to show up for yourself, to show up for what you wanted, to get beyond your limitations, get over all the stories out there. You need that. And especially as women, we know the conditioning on us starts from a very young age. They tell us who to be, how to sit, what is okay for us to wear. Is it okay for us to laugh? Are we too loud? everything conditions us to limit ourselves, to not show up in authenticity, and to not even dream. And if we do dare to dream, we are even afraid to say something because we still have that conditioning of, what are people going to think about me as a woman? Is it okay for me to do this? Consciously or subconsciously, those stories are there holding us back. That's why on this webinar, I want to share with you something that will help you get over it and go out there, create the success that you really want.
Yeah, and that's what you're doing. You're helping many entrepreneurs, many women really break free, to really
Mm,
be done with those stories. And now
mm,
is the time. There's a lot of change happening.
mm.
And now really is the time to say, okay, I'm ready to adventure. I'm ready to pioneer. I'm ready to release these stories. I'm going to come and I'm going to do this and I'm going to. So, what would you say would be the mindset for people to come ready for this call? So, like intention, what's the deal? What's the what are they going to come with?
Yeah, I just want you to come ready. Okay, first of all, this webinar is not for you if you don't want more, right? If you are satisfied where you are, I love you, but please save your time to do something else. This is for you only. If you want, if you have a dream, if you have a desire, if you want something, and some way, somehow, you just feel like it's out of your reach, you have, those stories of, I wish my family could understand me. I wish people could support me. People will make fun of me. If who am I to even, say that I'm good at this? Who am I to even charge people for what I do? I'm still learning. I am not good enough. Am I even worthy of to have the things that I desire to create the result that I want to create? You want to come to that webinar with the intention to discover what is standing between where you are right now, where you want to be, and how to bridge that gap.
And here's the thing, there's no excuse because it's free. It's next week Thursday on June the 10th at
Yes.
1 p.m.
Yes, 1 p.m. PST.
1 p.m. Pacific time, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. There's no excuse.
Mm.
Christelle, is there anything else that you want to leave with us? I could talk to you. We could talk about all kinds of things. Like when you were talking, I was thinking about, what are your thoughts about the people in the border, the immigrants that are all coming over? Where are they being ushered to? I'd like to know what your thoughts are, but I think I'll talk to you about that offline. But
Yes.
I could be talking to you about all kinds of things. You and I,
Yes. I mean, we can stay here all day long.
we can stay all day long, but we want to close it up and we want to, encourage you now. If you want more, like Christelle said, this is your time and don't hold yourself back. And here's the beautiful thing. When you meet someone like Christelle, who has already done the work and who is already moving beyond the barriers, that is the perfect person to support you so that you can move beyond yours. So that's really the best way to put it. Thank you, everybody, for listening and tuning in. Christelle Vega, it's wonderful to have you. And we'll see you all next time. And we'll see you in the webinar, June 10th. Bye.